Business leaders have offered dire warnings in recent months about the turmoil artificial intelligence could unleash on the job market, predicting widespread work displacement and mass unemployment. Experts say the picture is far from clear, with the full impact of the technology yet to be realized. The uncertainty is on full display this week, with tech stocks falling amid concerns that AI is not living up to the hype. Joining us to discuss, Julia Shapero, business and technology reporter here at The Hill. Hey, Julia, so you're working on a piece about the sentiment among business leaders about the impact of AI. What are they saying?
Yeah, I mean, the opinions of business leaders about what the impact of AI is going to be has been pretty wide-ranging. I mean, on the one hand, we've seen Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei warning that this technology could wipe out as much as half of white-collar jobs and could result in 10 to 20% unemployment within 5 years. But you also see some business leaders like NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman suggesting that there's going to be an impact, but it might not be quite as catastrophic as others are predicting.
What job sectors do business leaders think are going to be hit hardest, and how quickly could this happen?
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be mostly the white-collar jobs that are mostly impacted this time around. You know, in previous pushes for automation, this has mostly impacted blue-collar workers, but this time it seems like it's mostly on the white-collar side. It's unclear about how quickly this will impact workers. Experts have been telling me that it doesn't seem like the data is showing any impact so far from AI. So there's nothing there yet, but they say it just depends on how quickly this technology diffuses into the economy and how quickly companies are able to figure out how to effectively use the technology.
You know, we've heard these warnings from the tech world and other business leaders about the impacts of AI, but then at the same time, there's this thinking that if the U.S. holds back on AI development, competitors in places like China will keep going and then reap the rewards. When you talk to business leaders, how do they want politicians here in Washington to handle that paradox?
Yeah, it seems like business leaders, particularly the semiconductor industry, which is producing the chips that are sort of at the backbone that's driving this AI boom, are hoping for an approach that allows them to continue, selling their technology to China, but and allowing China to become dependent on that technology is the approach, but without letting them perhaps have our most high tech, chips and others of the sort. So this is sort of the approach that we've seen the Trump administration take towards the NVIDIA H20 and the AMD MI308 chip, allowing those sales to continue to China.
To kind of get them hooked on our technology without ever letting them surpass. What do you make of this MIT report that came out this week? It said 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing to produce revenue growth. Tech stocks have been down this week. Sam Altman of OpenAI says investors may be overexcited about AI. The other side of this story about the worry that AI is going to cause a massive upheaval in the labor market is a concern maybe that in the business community, AI could produce a bubble that ends up threatening the economy.
Yeah, I think that this is the big question for investors on this front. There have been a lot of questions about whether or not the massive amounts of money that these large tech companies are pouring into AI development is going to pay off. I think so far, especially in the second quarter, it seems like investors have been pretty happy with results so far. We saw pretty solid results from Meta and Microsoft last quarter, but it is really unclear still whether AI is going to produce a really big boost in revenue and productivity.
All right, we will leave it at that. Julia Shapero, business and technology reporter here at The Hill. Thanks so much for your insight.
Thank you.